Death is a spiritual transition, not an end. In the sacred silence that follows a final breath, something ancient awakens. Death, contrary to the illusions woven by material existence, is not an obliteration, but a door, a portal veiled in mist, through which consciousness passes into realms unknown yet intimately familiar. What we perceive as an end is merely the soul shedding its temporal disguise. The body returns to dust, but the spark within, the pure observer, continues its voyage. Across the ages, mystics have whispered that death is not a fall into darkness, but a return to the luminous source, a release into the vast sea of energy cosmica where all forms dissolve, yet all essence remains. This understanding is echoed in the ancestral wisdom passed down through esoteric schools, where death is described not with dread, but with reverence. The Egyptians prepared their dead with sacred rites, guiding the car through the afterlife. The Hindus speak of the Atman's journey through samsara, and Tibetan lamas trained to recognize the radiance of the clear light at the moment of death. Such teachings are not merely symbolic, they are maps, encoded instructions for navigating the hidden mysteries of the in-between. Those who embrace death as a transformation of consciousness rather than a finality glimpse the alchemical truth. The end of one phase is the ignition of another. Yet, for most, the transition is shrouded in confusion. Bound by attachments, regrets, and unresolved emotions, the spirit may linger or become disoriented. Without preparation or understanding, many fail to recognize the momentous opportunity hidden within the veil. What could be a passage into spiritual enlightenment becomes a cycle repeating endlessly. In these moments, the soul is not judged by external gods, but by its own frequency, drawn magnetically to realms in resonance with its inner state. The journey ahead is not a punishment, it is a mirror reflecting one's own inner alchemy. Many ancient prohibited texts, locked away by those who feared their power, describe the after-death process with astonishing clarity. One such manuscript, the Book of Emanations, unearthed from beneath a Sufi monastery, speaks of a spiral of light that greets the soul, a living vortex of all one's deeds, thoughts, and intentions. Entering it is both ecstatic and humbling. It strips away the false and magnifies the essential. The soul sees with unfiltered vision and is offered a choice to ascend, to return, or to dissolve. But this moment is fleeting, and without awareness, the gravity of unresolved karma pulls it back into incarnation. So the question arises, what happens next? Where does the soul go after this threshold has been crossed? The next phase is not random, nor is it controlled by any external force. It is guided by deeper laws, patterns woven through dimensions. To truly understand how the soul moves forward, how it chooses new parents, a new soulmate, a new path, we must step into the heart of the Bardo realms, where time warps, symbols speak, and destinies are written in the currents of cosmic energy. And that is exactly where we are heading next. The 6 Bardos, stages of consciousness before and after death. Within the hidden architecture of the soul's journey, there exists an ancient map, fragmented across civilizations, yet preserved in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. This map reveals the 6 bards, or intermediate states, each one a mirror of consciousness unfolding across dimensions. These are not merely stages after death. They encompass all realms of experience: life, death, dream, meditation. In the teachings of Vajrayana, mystics, the bardos are luminous crossroads where the veil thins and the spirit glimpses the essence of existence. To move through them consciously is to perform an act of inner alchemy, transmuting confusion into clarity. The first bardo is the bardo of waking life, the realm we currently inhabit. It is the theater of choice, karma, and illusion. Yet most walk through it asleep, unaware that every decision sows the seeds of the journey after death. The second is the bardo of dying, where time slows, the senses retract, and the veil begins to part. This is the first threshold, a sacred initiation where recognition of one's true nature can break the cycle of rebirth. Then comes the bardo of dharmata, or clear light, where the soul encounters the raw radiance of consciousness itself. This is the moment of immense power and vulnerability, a meeting with the cosmic energy from which all things arise. Beyond this, we enter the bardo of becoming, the realm of formation and rebirth. Here, the soul is drawn magnetically to circumstances that reflect its unresolved energies, leading it toward new parents, environments, and soul contracts. The remaining bardos, dream and meditation, occur within life, yet mirror death with stunning precision. In dreams, the soul roams the astral fields, reliving symbols of the subconscious. In meditation, it can pierce through illusion and taste the eternal. Those who master these inner bardos prepare themselves to recognize the outer ones, for as within, so without, the secret principle of all true ancestral wisdom. Each bardo is a gateway to spiritual enlightenment, but also a trap if entered unconsciously. The teachings warn, beings gripped by fear or desire may hallucinate monstrous visions or seductive illusions. These are not punishments, but projections, reflections of the inner landscape. The soul must pass through these veils with clarity, or risk falling back into the wheel of samsara. This is why the prohibited texts, suppressed by worldly powers, emphasized bardo training as the highest spiritual practice. To die well, one must first live awake. The bardos are not punishment. They are opportunities for liberation hidden in the folds of impermanence. But here lies the enigma. If each bardo offers the soul a choice, what governs those choices? How does the soul know where to go, who to meet, what to become? The answer lies not in fate, but in resonance, in the subtle laws of karma and awareness. For what we carry within us at the moment of death acts as a compass, guiding us through the swirling dimensions. And it is precisely here that we must journey next, to explore the invisible mechanisms that shape the path ahead, where cause meets consciousness and destiny emerges from the hidden mysteries of the soul's own making. Karma and awareness shape the soul's journey. Imagine the soul as a traveler suspended between worlds, holding within itself every vibration it ever emitted. At the moment of death, there is no external judge, no tribunal in the clouds. Instead, the soul is weighed against its own resonance. This is the law of karma, not as punishment or reward, but as sacred equilibrium. Each thought, each action, each unspoken desire creates a ripple in the fabric of the unseen, and it is this accumulated energy that shapes the next steps. In the bardos, the soul is irresistibly drawn toward a frequency that matches its inner tone, a cosmic magnetism guided not by fate but by consciousness. This is the hidden architecture of destiny, veiled in hidden mysteries. In the instant the body ceases, there exists a flash, an opening. If the soul is awake, attuned to the ancestral wisdom, it can recognize the pure light that radiates from the void. This is the clear light, the undistorted field of being, beyond form and identity. Those who merge with it are liberated, dissolving the ego like salt in water. But if the soul clings, afraid, confused, or unaware, it turns away from this radiance. In doing so, it begins to construct a new identity, seeking a new form. Here, karma becomes the architect, designing the blueprint of the next incarnation through echoes of unfinished stories and unresolved emotions. It is not cruelty, it is continuity. This is why the sages of old insisted on cultivating lucid consciousness in life. In the Tibetan Dzogchen tradition, it is taught that the moment of death merely reveals what has been practiced in meditation. If the soul has trained to recognize the nature of mind, it rides the wave of death like a bird on wind. But if life was lived in unconscious repetition, the soul struggles to navigate the bardos, mistaking projections for reality. The teachings from prohibited texts, hidden beneath ancient temples and encoded in symbols, tell of this critical moment. They speak of sound currents, of mantras, of light patterns that can guide the soul, if remembered. Karma also binds the soul to others. We do not choose our next parents randomly. Rather, we are drawn to wombs that echo our karmic patterns. A soul may be attracted to a lineage that offers the exact circumstances needed for growth or repetition. Likewise, the soulmate we encounter in the next life is not a new stranger, but a familiar resonance, someone whose presence catalyzes transformation or entrapment depending on our level of awareness. The soul does not simply fall into a new life. It co-creates it, sculpting the next body, family, and destiny with its own vibrations, guided by the silent music of the cosmic energy. And so, what appears to be reincarnation is actually the reassembly of energy, drawn into form through the soul's own unfinished song. But what if we could awaken before this song repeats itself? What if we could step beyond the wheel and choose, not from compulsion, but from clarity? The ancients believed this was possible, that liberation is not in escaping the cycle, but in mastering it. And this mastery begins now, in the present moment, with the recognition that all choices ripple through eternity. Yet, the final revelation still remains. What if the soulmate and parents the soul chooses are not destinations, but keys to a deeper unlocking of the soul's inner alchemy? Where does a soul go after it leaves the body? Is it guided by chance or by something far more profound? What if I told you that the moment of your death is not the end, but the beginning of a secret journey across invisible realms, where choices are made, destinies are formed, and ancient contracts are fulfilled? For centuries, forbidden scrolls and veiled traditions have hinted at a hidden process, a cosmic intelligence through which your spirit selects its next life, its new parents, and even the soulmate who will transform your path forever. But why has this knowledge been concealed? Why were these truths locked away in the vaults of ancient monasteries and erased from modern memory? Perhaps because they hold a power too great for the unprepared mind. Today, you are not here by accident. You've been called. Because once you understand how the soul navigates this sacred transition, your perception of life, death, and love will never be the same. What you're about to discover goes beyond religion, beyond science. It touches the very core of your ancestral wisdom, the spark that has traveled across lifetimes. In this journey, we'll unravel the hidden mysteries hidden within the Tibetan bardos, where realms of light and shadow test the soul's awareness. We'll explore how karma becomes the architect of your next reality and how your level of consciousness can lead to either liberation or repetition. Most importantly, we will shed light on how your spirit, in its purest form, chooses the very souls that will shape your rebirth, including the one destined to walk beside you, your soulmate. You'll come to see that your path is not a series of coincidences, but an intricate pattern woven by the threads of cosmic energy and your own inner alchemy. And by the end of this video, you'll carry a powerful realization. You are not a passive traveler in this vast universe. You are a conscious creator, rediscovering what was once hidden in the depths of prohibited texts, now rising to the surface for those ready to remember. So if you're ready to awaken this sacred memory within you, I invite you to join me. Like this video, share your reflections in the comments, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a revelation. Because what lies ahead may be the key that unlocks the destiny your soul has been waiting for. Now that you've glimpsed the hidden mechanics of the soul's journey, its choices, its alignments, its sacred geometry, I leave you with one final question. If your next life is being sculpted by the frequency you hold right now, what will you choose to become? Perhaps the soulmate you seek, the family you enter, and the destiny you live are not answers to be found outside, but reflections of the consciousness you awaken within. Let these revelations settle into your spirit. Reflect, observe, and remember, nothing in your path is accidental. Every meeting, every loss, every miracle is part of a design older than time. Share your thoughts below. Do you feel that you've crossed paths with souls from other lives? Have you ever felt pulled toward a place or person you couldn't explain? If this journey has stirred something deep within you, I invite you to share this video and continue walking with us. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss what comes next. Because in our next exploration, we'll dive even deeper into the moment before your soul descends into a body and the ancient symbols that guide that descent.